All right, Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Yeshua Yahushai, by Yeshua HaRakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and peace and salutation to the elect. So this lesson, I'm basically just going to read part of this article and basically just give some commentary, if the Spirit allows, some scriptures may come out, but I'm just in my car, so I'm in transit. But I just wanted to read a part of this article by Kevin Barrett. Clearly, I've been keeping up, through the Spirit, this Jeffrey Epstein case, has gone cold as far as in the media and, people's attention. And so, through the Spirit, I want to keep it hot, man, because something like this doesn't happen all the time, to where someone as prolific as a Jeffrey Epstein not only was about to go to trial, he was put in jail, supposedly committed suicide, but all of these things need to be brought to the forefront because, as I've said before in other lessons, there are countless Jeffrey Epsteins out there. So this one in itself has so much mystery behind it because, like I said, it was front page news and then it was no page news, and so any type of article I get, or even if you brothers run across articles, this happened a little bit more than a month and a half ago, roughly. And this article I'm going to read now, or at least the excerpt from this article, is from September 5th, 2019. And as I was doing my research, there's maybe one or two articles that have been in the past week, but nothing as robust as it has been for the past couple of years. So anyway, the name of this article says 9/11 and Jeffrey Epstein, media malfeasance on steroids. Let me get that word here because I pronounced it incorrectly. Malfeasance. Okay, which means wrongdoing, especially by a public official. Okay, so I'm just gonna scroll all the way down here, man. This dude Kevin Barrett, man, he was going in, but I just really wanted to try to get to the last points in which he made, and really, that'll be, just more of a FYI, for you Akim, you brothers post scriptures, if you're compelled. It says the Epstein affair, like 9/11, illustrates two critically important truths about Western secularism. There is no truth and there are no limits. A society that no longer believes in God no longer believes in the truth, since God is al-haq, the truth, without whom the whole notion of truth has no metaphysical basis. So let me just say something real quick. I don't know what this al-haq is or whatever, but the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. Okay, it's not God. All right, and the name of the Heavenly Father Son is Yahushai. Okay, so just for clarity, for anyone that may be coming across this video, that name in which they have an article is not the name of the Heavenly Father. It says the postmodern philosophers understand this perfectly well. They taught a whole generation of Western humanities scholars that truth is merely a function of power. People accept something as true to the extent that they are forced by power to accept it, which is another reason why this is Babylon, which is another reason why they're going to force that RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. It says, so when the most powerful people in the world insist that 3 enormous steel-framed skyscrapers were blown to smithereens by relatively modest office fires on 9/11, that absurd assertion becomes the official truth constructed by such Western institutions as governments, courts, media, and academia. Likewise, the assertion that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide under circumstances that render that assertion absurd will probably become the official truth as recorded and promulgated by the West ruling institutions, even though nobody will ever really believe it. Okay? It said Epstein's career as a shameless, openly operating Mossad sexual blackmailer, like the in-your-face 9/11 coup, also illustrates another core truth of Western secularism. If there is no God, there are no limits. In this case, to human depravity and what it can get away with. Or as Dostoevsky famously put it, if God doesn't exist, everything is permitted. Since God alone can establish metaphysical grounded limits between what is permitted and what is forbidden, a world without God will feature no such limits. In such a world, Aleister Crowley's satanic motto, "Do what thy wilt shall be the whole law," becomes the one and only commandment. In today's godless West, why should men not do what they wilt and indulge their libidos by raping young girls if they can get away with it? After all the other sexual taboos are being broken one by one. Fornication, adultery, homosexuality, sadomachism. Hold on, let's see what this word is. I don't know how to pronounce this one. That's a lot. Because all of these things are just referenced as, all of these things are just referenced as Esau's wickedness. Okay, it's a lot, brothers. For some reason, I'm having a little difficulty as usual. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Sadomasochism.
Sadomasochism. It's a psychological tendency or sexual practice characterized by both sadism and machismoism. I'm not saying that right, but
sadomasochism.
Masochism. Okay. All right. So it says gender bending. I'm right here. It says gender bending. All of these have been transformed during my lifetime from crimes and vices to human rights enjoyed by the most liberal and fashionable right-thinking Western secularists. Even bestiality and necrophilia are poised to become normalized sexual identities whose practitioners will soon be proudly marching in bestiality parade and necrophilia pride parades. So why not normalize pedophilia and other forms of rape perpetrated by the strong against the weak? And why not add torture and murder and in service to sexual gratification? After all, the secret Bible of the sexual identity movement is the collected works of the Marquis de Sade, the satanic prophet of sexual liberation, with whom the liberal, progressivist, secular West is finally catching up. It will not be surprising if, just a few years after Jeffrey Epstein's suicide is consigned to the memory hole, we will be witnessing LGBTQBNPR parades, with the BNPR standing for bestiality, necrophilia, pedophilia, and rape. It would have been LGBTQBNPRG, with the final G standing for gropers like President Trump, except that G was already taken by the gays. The P's, pioneers of pedophilia pride parades, will undoubtedly celebrate Jeffrey Epstein as an ahead of his time misunderstood hero who was unjustly persecuted on the basis of his unusual sexual orientation. It is getting harder and harder to satirize the decadence and depravity of the secular West, which insists on parroting itself with ever-increasing outlandishness. When the book on this once mighty civilization is written and the ink is dry, readers will be astounded by the limitless lies of the drunk on Hetzpah sociopaths who ran it into the ground. And really all of this article is talking about Esau, the so-called white man, because he set up 9/11 and he set up for Jeffrey Epstein to be killed, because I do not believe that he committed suicide. And if he did, they allowed for him to do so. But I do believe it was a blood sacrifice more than it was anything, just like 9/11 was a sacrifice as well. And to where, I think even, Lord willing, I'll post this article, but it says something about, let's read this and then we'll close out here. It says, as the 18th anniversary of 9/11 approached, the arrest and alleged suicide of Jeffrey Epstein made headlines and raised questions about the credibility of official narratives. As Eric Rasmussen writes, everybody, it seems, in New York society knew by 2000 that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were corrupting teenage girls, but the press wouldn't cover it. Likewise, everybody in New York society has long known that Larry Silverstein, these fake Jews, who brought the asbestos-riddled White Elephant World Trade Center in July of 2001 and immediately doubled the insurance, is a mobbed-up friend of Netanyahu and a confessed participant in the controlled demolition of Building 7, from which he earned over $700 million insurance dollars on the pretext that Al-Qaeda had somehow brought it down, but the press won't cover that either. So, like I said, the reason why I'm bringing that up is just to kind of have brothers understand the things that are happening in the backdrop as it pertains to this Epstein case. Because as long as people don't inquire, Esau just removed that storyline and put something else in its place. But, like I said, I just wanted to bring, that information out just so brothers can be a little bit more aware, because like I said, man, this is much bigger than we think, as far as the Jeffrey Epstein situation. He's been supplying, loose teenagers to prolific Edomite men for the longest, especially here in Babylon. So anyway, I just wanted to send that message to you, Akim, as I stated. If you brothers have any precepts, leave those in the comment section, and I'll leave this link here in the description box. And with that, I'm going to say, Shalom.